guys, my name is Stephanie. I'm 25 years old and I'm a 2-time cancer survivor. When I was 22, I was diagnosed with stage 2 colon cancer. I had to have an emergency right side hemicolonectomy and my left ovary was removed at the same time due to a dermoid cyst, which luckily was benign, and then followed up with some chemo for the colon cancer. Because of my age, they suggested genetic testing, which is a simple blood test. We then found out it was genetic, and I got it from my mom's side. We have a hereditary cancer disorder called Lynch Syndrome, which makes you more susceptible to certain cancers. 1 in 279 people have Lynch Syndrome, and only 5% know they have it. It's a 50-50 chance it gets passed down to your kids, and out of 4 kids, I'm the only one my mom passed it on to. Almost 2 years later, at the age of 24, I was then diagnosed with a brain tumor, a grade 2 glioma type tumor, and falsely told in the ER that my colon cancer had metastasized to my brain, and my prognosis was 1 to 2 months, and I was most likely going to live out the rest of my life in the hospital. Luckily, that doctor was wrong, and apparently eager to give me a prognosis. But it's been over a year, and I'm still here kicking the tumor's butt.
Yes!
Thank you. I've done 6 weeks of radiation and 6 rounds of chemo, which has been like a year and a half since. The tumor's still there. It's just much smaller and being monitored every 3 months with MRIs. Both cancers were super hard to be diagnosed. Colon cancer because of my age, and the brain cancer was because the likeliness of actually getting a second cancer was overlooked by my oncologist. I've learned a lot from cancer and how sometimes life decides to reroute you. When cancer chooses you, you're suddenly thrust into a club that you didn't ask to join and shipped off to a war even though you didn't even enlist in the army. I've grown up a lot since and lost a lot of friends along the way, which really taught me who my true friends are. I've also made many cancer friends that I can actually relate to through social media. I appreciate life more than before, and I'm just glad to be here today. My mom and I have been working very hard to get the word out about Lynch Syndrome and how important it is, because knowledge is power. And now here's my mom to tell you her story and more about Lynch Syndrome. Thank you.
Thank you. Whoa, that's a bright light. Thank you. So first, she's my hero for her strength. And
Yes.
thank you, love you. And my guardian angel. She by discovering her Lynch syndrome, I actually caught an early diagnosis of endometrial cancer that I would have overlooked the subtle symptoms of. So when we say knowledge is power, we truly do mean knowledge is power. And knowing that you have a genetic predisposition to certain cancers really can be a lifesaver. So that's why we're out kind of pushing the information on the medical industry, because it's amazing that 1 out of 279 people have Lynch syndrome, and about 5% of those people actually know they carry the gene and have this predisposition to cancer. So it's really important to get that message out, pass down the information through the generations. I did not realize I carried Lynch syndrome, didn't know the significance of 2 of my father's relatives that had cancer, how significant that was. I just didn't understand, and Stephanie obviously didn't either. You know, when you go to the doctor and they say, is there a history of cancer? Yes, but it was 2 generations removed, and we really didn't give it the credit it deserved, and neither did the doctors. So we really are spreading that. So what Lynch syndrome is, and the reason I'm up here talking about it as well, is it's a gene mutation of a certain. There's about 6 different genes involved, and it's kind of like a spell check on a computer. If there's a glitch in a gene and it starts developing incorrectly, the normal person without Lynch syndrome has the ability for that to be corrected and for the gene to, the cell to start developing the right way. With Lynch syndrome, it doesn't. So colon cancer is the most predominant. 80% of people with Lynch syndrome will get colon cancer. So early diagnosis, early colonoscopies, knowing you have Lynch syndrome, you can get in there and get it done early. Endometrial cancer, uterine, ovarian cancer, those are kind of the next on the list. And they're actually now discovering that some of the mutations have a breast cancer element as well, and skin cancer and brain cancer at the bottom of the list. So we're just wanting to spread the word. And if you do even have a subtle history of cancer, really pay attention to that. It's a simple blood test, a conversation with a genetic counselor, and knowledge truly is power. Knowing that you have this predisposition can save your life. So thank you.